This episode of Grip Tips is brought to you by Lightbulb Grip. We're back. I'm Dave Downson. Welcome back to Grip Tips. Today we end our knot series with Hitches, bitches. We have 4 knots that we're going to look over today. We have the clove hitch, the high tie, the half hitch, and the trucker's hitch. We will start off with our clove hitch by wrapping around the object that we are tying to, and then wrap on top of the line, making an X pattern cross and around the tree again. Then take the end of your line and pass it underneath the second pass, tighten, and you're done. The clove hitch is a really great knot to learn, but it only works if there's a constant load or tension on the line. If there's no constant load and there's no tension, then the clove hitch can actually be shaken apart. For example, I have a sandbag hanging off of my C-stand. I don't know why you would do this, but for demonstration purposes, it will stay tight if I leave the tension alone. Also, the clove hitch will not slide left or right and stay fixed in the area that you tied it to almost 90% of the time. However, if I pick the sandbag up, the tension from the line is released, and therefore the clove hitch can be shaken loose. So the clove hitch is a really great knot to learn, especially if you want to make sure that the line stays in a particular spot around a round object, but it only works if you have a constant load, as again, it can be shaken loose. Our next knot is very popular in the grip and electric community. It's called a high tie. And you would think that that's a drink because it's grip and electric, but it's not. First, wrap around the object and pull it until the line is completely tight. Throw the loose line over the tension line and make a U-turn around the line that has tension and go back the opposite direction that you started. And I'm actually going to stop this for a second because we're actually about to learn 2 knots in one. This next part is actually called a half hitch. When passing the line underneath and overhead, drop it into the snare, underneath, and tighten. Underneath, overhead, in the snare, tighten. Underneath, overhead, in the snare, tighten. So that's actually 2 knots in one. You got the high tie and you also have the half hitch. Also, things that I didn't mention in other videos, because I wanted this to be just simply a hitch video, is that whenever you have the opportunity to put a half hitch inside of a knot, do it. Every time you add a half hitch to any line of any knot, you're actually adding just that much more security. In this case, with the high tie, as Jamie has shown here, there's 3 levels of security to go through before the knot can actually shake loose. And last but not least, we've got the trucker's hitch. There's about 9 million different ways to do this, but we're going to choose this particular method because it seems to be pretty popular for its simplicity, but it's basically a poor man's ratchet strap. First, make sure that you have a secured, tied-off anchor point. Then wrap around your second anchor point and leave a little bit of slack. Make a bite out of the tension line and then spin the bite loop around twice and grab the line underneath the loop that you just created, which is the exact same tension line, and pull it through the loop. Then take the end of the line and pass it through the loop, and then pull the line tight, and once the line is tight, throw in a couple of half hitches just like we did with the high tie knot earlier, and boom, you're done. Strike a pose. Okay, there's actually another thing that we can do to improve this knot, and I meant to have the guys over at Scene Snipers show us this, but I completely forgot to tell them, so that's my bad. So we're gonna do it on top of my car, but here's another way that we can improve this knot. Oftentimes this knot will come loose and lose the tension when you are trying to throw in a couple of half hitches. But if you want to keep the tension while putting in a couple of half hitches, here's a trick. When you pass the line through the loop, pass it twice through the loop. When you begin pulling the line tight, the line will almost lock itself because of all the tension being applied. What you'll notice is that I haven't even thrown in a half hitch yet, and the line is pretty much staying in position because of all the friction within the loop. I can continue to pull the line tighter and tighter until I'm happy, and then I can close it off completely with a couple of half hitches for safety. Then when I'm done using the line, this also makes for a really great quick release solution as well. Taking the half hitches out, the line still has tension, and to release it, I just have to pass the line back the opposite direction as I did before and pull until the loop releases. Trucker's hitch can be a confusing knot, but it's very useful, especially when you're trying to strap things down to the roof of your car. In my case, a sleeping bag here, which is something that I did when I was going camping this past weekend. And I gotta say, there's something about camping that is just majestic. It's like the open woods, a campfire, and firing a 308 at Tannerite. Got it. Pure Michigan. But we were being really safe about it. And speaking of safety, Lightbulb Grip is a lighting rental house based out of Brooklyn, New York, and they're dedicated to the education and safety on all film sets. If you have any questions about rigging, on-set safety, or even gear that you've seen in this episode, minus guns, you can contact them by heading over to the website at www.lightbulbgrip.com. So a special shout out to the guys over at Scene Snipers, specifically Jamie Sirach. Thank you for getting in front of the camera and showing us those couple of different knots. If you guys have never heard of Scene Snipers, I totally recommend checking them out. Just type in hashtag Scene Snipers. You'll see all the different rigs and builds that they've done. Additionally, this past couple of weeks, I've had a Patreon account, and I also want to say thank you to those who are now supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. If you want to be one of those people who also want to support this channel, I'll leave a link in the description below. But that is all that I have for you guys today. If you like today's episode, please let me know in the comment section below. You can also follow me on my Twitter right here. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time right here on Grip Tips.
job.